The music and the performance and the fashion are one. I don't separate my art from my life. It is one whole thing.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Tom.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Patrick, and this is Chewing on Pearls, the show where we dissect and decipher Lady Gaga's chameleonic career and its impact, one pearl at a time.
So we're back, and today we're discussing all things The Devil Wears Prada 2, including Lady Gaga's cameo and original songs for the film.
In October of last year, after sold-out Mayhem Ball shows in Manchester, England, Gaga was spotted on the film's set at the Brera Academy in Milan, Italy. This confirmed her involvement in the project, with Variety reporting she'd be playing herself.
In the past several months, much speculation has unfolded about Gaga's level of involvement with the soundtrack, with rumors that multiple Gaga songs were making the cut. Sure enough, the soundtrack for the film features Runway, featuring Doechii, an up-tempo track called Shape of a Woman, which Gaga performs in the film, and a ballad called Glamorous Life, which plays during the credits. Go check out our episode covering the Runway music video if you haven't yet.
Joining us to discuss the film is photographer, painter, co-creator of Chicago-based magazine The Issue, and The Devil Wears Prada enthusiast. Please welcome our friend and sister, Andrew Davalos.
Hello.
Hi, darling.
Hello.
Why don't you tell everyone about the date that we had today?
Oh, we had such a lovely day. Well, let me start with the beginning. I woke up fresh and dewy-eyed. I fit in a viewing of the first one right before we, the three of us, went to our screening of The Devil Wears Prada 2 at the Davis Theater. Shout out. My first time there.
Yeah.
They were fabulous. I really enjoyed that theater.
It's a good one.
Good
It was
one.
full, too.
Yeah.
Packed.
It was packed. I said that it was the busiest movie that I've been to, like a new movie in years. It was crazy.
And this was my second screening. I already went to the premiere night on Thursday, and that one was less packed. This one was a better viewing, better crowd, as I would say. But yeah, then we got food afterwards, and now we're here recording.
Yes, we are. So we're going to get into The Devil Wears Prada, of course. And I want to know more about your fixation with this film. But before we do, we have to hit you with our, kind of guest questionnaire.
Yeah.
So tell us, what was your first exposure to Lady Gaga?
My first exposure to Gaga was...
Gaga.
Gag. My first exposure to Lady Gaga was So You Think You Can Dance, 2007 or 8, I believe it was. Because my family, we would watch that show all together. And I just remember she performed Just Dance, and I remember the glasses, so specifically, pop music will never be low brow. And then they go into the full performance, fascinated. And then they featured Love Game on this other show, Chuck, at the time. And
oh, yeah. I forgot about that show.
And I kind of knew of her a little bit. My brother was 3 years older, so he started buying her CD or torrenting the music from LimeWire or something like that. And so then she was kind of just around and radio hits. But when Bad Romance came out, I remember where I was. We were having some family party or something was happening in that day. And I ran upstairs to go look at the music video by myself while all of my parents' friends were downstairs. And oh my God, it changed my life. And I just became obsessed with everything. I was a big Vivo watcher, so I was always watching the music videos.
Classic gay guy move to isolate during family event to watch music videos.
Yeah. I don't know how I knew. I don't know if it was for Bad Romance, but I do remember there was a timer for Alejandro when that one was dropping. And that one I remember, again, I stole away and went to go watch it. And yeah, I was just so fascinated with the love of fashion that she showed. And at that same time, I had already been obsessed with The Devil Wears Prada. And then the September issue came out in 2011. And my love of, all things fashion really was cemented. And with her collaborations with McQueen on Bad Romance, I was just like, oh my God, this is the one. She is like... Yeah, she was just the first one for me that I really felt she had something so different to say than anybody. And I was so young, so I didn't really know what I was saying, but she had a point of view that made me feel seen.
I think about this all the time, like how much of, because we were so young and impressionable at the time that she premiered, and she was like at that first like kind of like imperial phase of her career, like how much it's hard to distinguish how much of myself, my taste, my own creative output, my own like ideas about things have been influenced by this woman and like her artistry, because she was such a gateway. Like I was interested in fashion, I was interested in like pop music and in, you know, and all of those things, but when like she was such a vessel for me to like really commit and dive in, and like I don't know who I would be creatively or just like as a person without that influence at that moment.
BG.
It's crazy.
Before Gaga.
Yeah.
Who was I? BG. And I can't, that's kind of like, I'm having a little bit of a hard time consolidating my thoughts, because I do feel like so much of her work has affected my current taste that I can't really think about like who I was before that, because I was so young. And that's the same thing with the Devil Wears Prada, you know. It hit and I loved it instantly. You know, there was like kind of just no turning back.
No gray area, if you will.
Exactly. No Amelia Gray.
Don't bring Renna into this.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. What Gaga song do you currently have on repeat?
Okay, not to be so Devil Wears Prada pilled, but it is Runway. I just love that little...
Turn it up!
I just love the little intro of the... like the... I'm feeling fab, I'm feeling free,
Yes,
I'm feeling exceptionally.
you're an intro girl and we're outro girls.
You sound
Yes.
when you just did that, you sounded like what's her name going Balekte.
Yeah,
What do
no,
you love
I
about Runway though? Like what is it?
I think it's just fun. It's bouncy to me. It feels like a bouncy song ready to just like be walked to. And I'm always speed walking and on the way to work or in my work hallways. So it's like I just love throwing it on. It's I feel like now that, I don't know, a couple years ago I hated short songs. Now I feel like they have their place. And this is like the perfect amount of time to do a little lap at work when I'm needing a break from my desk, or you know, on the way to the train, and I can just pop it on and you know, just do a little bouncy walk and pretend I'm on the runway.
That being said, I do want the extended mix.
Yeah.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
And the
I'm sure
video-
someone's making one for YouTube right now.
Yeah.
My love of the song was cemented by the video.
Oh,
That video was
100%.
just so beyond.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would say that's the current Gaga I'm listening to. I mean, I really had a Born This Way phase at the beginning of the year
Well,
because it's
keep it.
and it's coming up.
Keep that energy coming.
Exactly.
Yes.
Y'all better put your paws up at the Born This Way 15th anniversary.
Yes.
At Color
Ooh,
Club.
Yes.
They will be. She's plugging. She's plugged.
She might be there.
And Kate.
Yeah, actually, we did invite Lady Gaga, so
Oh,
She'll be there.
I meant this.
Oh.
She.
she.
Yes.
No, I just think I have so many moments with Mary Jane Holland
Yes.
recently. So that's another one that's on the top of my list right now. Yeah.
I love the lyric. I know my mom and dad think I'm a mess. It really resonates.
Yeah. Except I wish that I could answer, but it's all right because I'm rich as piss.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's not the case for me though.
Yeah, no, I know.
So-
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? I feel like in our group text, Angie K's eyes, the three of us were like freaking the hell out when Runway came out, and it
Yeah.
was like crickets on the other.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
People.
Well, mind you, it did happen during the workday.
Yes, and
like,
it
my
was
God.
it was like we were texting about it like truly 3 minutes after it
Yeah.
dropped.
Yes,
So
yeah.
give them a little
Yeah,
space.
yeah.
I was.
to
Yeah. No.
consume.
I made
yeah, our
to-
friend, the like clinical psychologist,
yes.
probably
Yeah.
isn't
yeah.
texting. You know,
Well, I was working on it dropped in the like 5 or 6, I think.
Yeah, it was like
And
later in the day.
it was like in the evening, and I was doing work with on the magazine with 2 others, and I played it for them, and I was just like jumping up and down, and they were
Everybody
like,
better
"Yeah,
be jumping.
They were like,
Everybody better be
they're
jumping.
like, it's good. And I'm like,
This is life changing.
and they were like, okay, can we get back to work now? And I'm just like, no, we're
You
gonna
said work.
repeat this, you know?
Yeah, he said key.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the fated question, again, one that Patrick and I have failed to answer ourselves. I think we're like outsourcing this when we have a guest because
Yeah.
it's really hard for us to answer because
Yeah.
we just have a constant slideshow of images of this woman in our head at all times.
Yes.
But we wanted to ask, what Gaga are you today and why?
Oh my God, I'm so many Gagas. You know, I'm Gaga showing up in the carriage to the Fame perfume launch.
Yeah.
I am Gaga in the Devil Wears Prada 2. You know, I'm feeling a little
Fab.
reserved and
Free.
cunty.
Exceptionally
Yeah.
me.
And
I do associate that brunette like Fame perfume era Gaga with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
That
That
is-
carriage specifically.
Yeah.
That is,
And
yeah.
that look is
I
one of
know.
my all-time favorites.
She looks
It's
so good.
the
Mhm.
bouffant.
I know.
It's
The
like
nails.
the nail with the hand.
Mhm.
It's like it was simple for her at that time.
Which is funny because
Yeah.
that's like when she was writing Mary Jane Holland.
Yeah.
It's simple for her.
Stoned out of her mind at Harrods.
And
Yeah.
looking
Sleeping in
so
Sleeping, yeah.
and looking so beyond sleek and cunt, and not like she gave a new definition
And
to
that's
what
when
a
she was
stoner
being-
could look like to me.
Yeah, yeah.
She
You know?
was being like cunty bitchy in interviews at that time.
Yeah, she
too.
was. I want
Which
to smell like semen
Having
and
her
sex.
assistant like,
She's like-
adjust her breasts in her top.
she's like, lift my tits.
yeah. And just like and it was like a new face for Gaga at the
Yeah.
time too. Like she was looking a little different, like, and she was a little plumped.
Yeah.
And just fierce.
She
Different
was
makeup
feeling-
look too started to change during the Born This Way ball.
It felt mature, Gaga.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
like a little maybe like,
But
a little
also a teen.
jaded to
Yeah,
me.
no, teen,
It
it's
was
like teen dressing up in her mom's clothes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
She felt jaded to me at that time,
well,
like starting to feel the effects of, I don't know,
All of it.
not the beautiful, not the accolades and all of that. Like people were I mean, she was always shat on her in her career early on, but it seemed like at this point, it was a little more like, I know a couple things at this point now. You know, I'm a couple years in, so
Yeah,
I
totally.
don't know.
Well, thank you for humoring
Of
us
course.
and our Gaga questions. Before we dive into kind of more of a casual conversation about this movie,
Mhm.
I would love to get a like as brief as you can, being a fanatic,
Yeah.
synopsis of kind of like what happens in this movie. 'Cause I
Okay.
think that would help us just kind of dive in and talk about whatever we want.
Yeah. Okay. We're now 20 years later. Andy left Runway still with good thoughts about Miranda. You know, she waves at her at the last minute of the movie, kind of walks away a more mature version of herself, a little more fashion minded, but still seeking journalistic integrity. So with this movie, we wake it back up. She just was recently fired from her newspaper job, the New York Vanguard, and someone big at Runway or at Elias Clark, the Condé Nast of it all, sees her little speech that she gives, decides that, you know, maybe it's time that this woman comes back to Runway. They're in the midst of a scandal and they need to have credibility again. So they bring Andy back on. And so the movie is just kind of about Andy being back 20 years later. The state of journalism is much different. The state of print media is very different. Miranda has a lot less power in this movie, all for reasons beyond her control. And it's a good, fun watch.
Yeah.
Definitely feels like a different movie to me, but it's great.
And why does this universe mean something to you?
Okay, so this movie was very special to me. It was a birthday movie. So this movie dropped June 30th, 2006, and that's June 30th is my birthday. And we had just moved to Chicago that year. And I had a friend visiting from Arizona, where I had just moved from for my birthday. My grandma was in town. So we all go to the movies. I decide that this is the movie that we want to watch. And it just exposed me to a world that I had no clue about. I was turning 11.
Right.
And it was like, I don't know why it resonated with me so much, but it did. The music, the fashion, the scenes, the humor, the characters, it inspired this love of print media, of magazines. And then a couple years later, the September issue came out, which is kind of Vogue's inside look. And I think
I haven't seen that documentary, and I really want to.
It's incredible. And you see just how similar, like, the offices that the first movie got to what Vogue offices look like at that time. You know, they had the 2 desks in front of Anna's office. They even got Anna's office very similar to how they, of course, the Devil Wears Prada is a glossier version of that world. But yeah, it inspired me so much to, you know, what I'm doing now, you know.
Well, thank you. I think it's interesting. This movie, or the whole like franchise, is like so beloved by gays and girls. And then watching this movie today, just like seeing how much thought of that for that audience was put into this movie was kind of crazy. Like they had like, I mean, we're going to get into the Gaga of it all, of course, but like, I don't know, Caleb Heron, they had a Bravo celebrity up in there. They had, what's her name? Paige. Is that her name?
Paige DeSorbo.
Yeah. From Summer House. I don't know, just so many like little things that felt like not only are they aware that this means something to gays and girls that like grew up in a certain time, but also like we're going to keep kind of feeding that beast in a way. And I think Gaga is kind of the cherry on top of that.
Oh my God. Yeah. They knew that they needed her. That's the thing. They needed her, you know.
I guess in the script, I saw a thing that was like the script called for a pop star.
Right.
And they were like, you know, like Meryl was the one who was like, I know someone who has her number, which is presumably, I think, isn't Mark Ronson her son-in-law?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he is.
And also, I think Meryl and Gaga really hit it off at the SNL 50 celebration. Like they were chummy there. And I think that's how she got her number, like directly. And then she asked, and Gaga just said yes, like right off the bat.
I wonder, like, I mean, I think there's like only one other person who could, maybe 2, who could have fulfilled what they needed in this movie from like a plotline standpoint of like, I guess to give it away, spoiler alert, it's like Miranda needs to call in a favor because there are budget cuts at Runway and they're having this big party in Milan and they need a musical guest. And she's like, oh, I guess I'll call her. She like really pissed me off with the cover she did or whatever. And like with that context, and then later we see Gaga perform and they have a moment together, which we'll get into. I'm like, there's 2 people that I can think of that could suit that, which are Madonna and Rihanna.
Oh yeah,
Totally.
Gaga, Madonna, Rihanna. Like
Alana.
They're like Rihanna. Yeah. Rihanna has like the fashion side of that. And I think Madonna just has the kind of like, iconic, not that Rihanna's not iconic, she's iconic, but like Madonna just is like, she's associated with that entire world.
She was the
forever.
first, correct me if I'm wrong, but she was the first celebrity that Anna, at her tenure at Vogue as the editor-in-chief, put on the cover.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's crazy. But what do you think? Why Gaga? Besides her saying yes and the Meryl connection and all that stuff.
Gaga is synonymous with fashion.
Which, okay,
flowers.
Can I burst the bubble now?
Yeah.
I really thought that whole runway presentation, like in the movie itself, was so all over the place.
You mean the scene where Gaga performs?
Yes.
Let's get into it then.
Yes.
So, want to set us up, like set the stage a little, set the runway?
Yes, I shall. So the Runway's having this big like celebration fashion show that's all about the relationship between Runway and like Italian fashion houses, which I feel like was like not really explored. They were just like, we're celebrating this because we have like this long history. But then it just like wasn't clear to me the way that the show starts with like all the models on the stage, like who and what and why, like who are we looking at and why? And I'm sure like we could go through the fashion credits. Some of them I think like were recognizable as like Dolce & Gabbana and stuff, but I'm like, are these all Italian designers? What is like the kind of curation? Like I think the visuals themselves were just kind of like fashion coded. Like it just like read, whereas like something like the Runway video that read as like fashion people, but there was like, I don't know, a little bit more of like a cohesion and curation. This show was like, oh, you're in a coat and a fur hat, and now we've got like the evening gown, and now we have the sundress, and like, not saying that isn't.
It was like a
thing.
showcase or something.
Yes, but and I felt like it was less dynamic because everyone, like when the show starts, everyone's just out there. And I guess not that we have to be like traditionalists when it comes to like a runway presentation, but there is something satisfying about watching the clothes like each have their moment,
come out and then disappear.
Like I feel like I didn't, like I saw so much, but I didn't actually really see anything.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember what the show was.
To me, it felt a little, it was meant to be like a showcase because they had already had all the couture shows prior to that in the scene when they were playing Runway. Early on, they were doing the cuts where, you know, they're at the Valentino show and they're at like the Dolce show where Meryl's in like that, where that was an actual show that Anna got cut from. There was like a shot with her and Miranda talking, and that was like all the fashion shows that they were actually like not creating for the film. So with this, it felt like that one scene in Sex and the City where they have like the Margaret shows running that fashion show, and it's just a bunch of different houses dressing a New York celebrity.
Yeah, like an iconic New Yorker.
Exactly. Yeah. And none of it felt cohesive. It was like, why the fuck is Carrie in like these like a coat and panties for Dolce, but then you have some guy in like this tux coming out right after her. Just it felt like, so it
could have been like more cunt.
Yes.
It could have been more cunt, but to me it made sense of like, this is a magazine's curation of like Italian designers.
Yeah,
it did feel very choppy in the way that it was cut.
I guess that's also what I'm trying to get at, is like the scenic portion is like so impressive, and they somehow made it less interesting. Like the runway itself was cool, and like the building was cool. I don't know, the way that like the show was shot, I was kind of like,
it was definitely like catering, like pulling back the curtain, the movie making of it all. I felt like it was just catering to Gaga, and that like she was incredibly lit, and like you have models walking past her in complete darkness. Like it didn't feel like a real fashion show. It felt like a showcase. Even it just sort of felt like it was for Gaga's performance, which is okay,
which is fine. And so with that, Gaga is wearing a cunty archival piece from her own closet.
Yes.
Her custom Versace pointed shoulder gown, cane,
with like embroidered
fishnet corset,
good with the gold kind of trim at the top. Such an incredible look.
Very satisfying. And then we get to the upper portion.
Well, let's say that this dress is historic because Gaga wore it to the Grammys, where she was nominated for Born This Way and like lost everything.
Yeah.
And so it is this like special, and she didn't walk the red carpet that year. And so like, I think the general public does not know what this dress is, but she knows going into filming this. Little Monsters, terminally online people know this look or this dress as being part of this image where I am looking sort of downtrodden and sad because Adele just won all these Grammys. So like that's kind of the context for us going in, the three of us. But like I also imagine that for other people, it's like, wow, look at Gaga.
Right. Well, and it's like, it makes sense that if it is like the celebration of Italian fashion, it's like she's gonna pull a Versace
Yeah,
look.
totally.
And I do love that, you know, we're seeing her in things that she's worn before, like pretty frequently
Yeah.
in relation to Devil Wears Prada. Like she wore a YSL gown for the premiere that she just owns because she like owns that entire collection, and like for the after party too. So I do think that's kind of an interesting statement too, for her to be like, oh, you want Gaga? Well, let me just like shop my own closet, because
Yeah.
what's cuntier than that?
Yeah.
Like what I already have in my possession.
I did hear that she had rehearsed that scene in like this canary yellow dress, and they felt
Interesting.
like it looked like she was one of the models. So
I
they
could
wanted
see
her
that.
to stand out, and so then that's why she went to her closet and picked something that
I
was
love that.
already
That's
on.
interesting.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I think most listeners to this show know that, like, at the time that Gaga first wore this custom dress in 2012, she had like fishnet over her face and this like Cruella black and white, really updo with like a cane. She's still wielding a cane in The Devil Wears Prada too. But the styling, as you were just about to get into, is quite different. She's wearing a headpiece by Carlo Maria Filippelli, that is like this stoned kind of like Magneto helmet.
Yeah. Like half helmet.
Yeah, and then she
Face
kind of just has like a
shield.
blown out like blonde vibe kind of cascading behind that. And
With like a mini bump it moment.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
That
It's not correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're all on the same page.
yeah.
It's not correct. And I think because, like Tom just said, that look is so special to Little Monsters, that styling is so important. Like the veil, fishnet covering of the face, the red lip, the black blonde hair pulled back with like the little baby pony. Like it's just like that is burned in my brain. So seeing that dress with any other option is just
Right.
like incorrect.
I still like I agree. I do think that even there is like another new way to style that would have been better.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
yeah,
I
like-
honestly, no headpiece, just slick
That's
back.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Slick back,
that's
like
it.
blonde bob.
Yeah.
Done.
Perfect. I would agree.
Yeah.
Chromatica
Yeah.
ball wig. Done.
I think it felt
Yes.
felt like it was on two different outfits, and
Well, now I'm curious to see the canary yellow thing, because I'm
Yeah.
like, if the canary yellow thing was like showgirl feather bouffant, like then I could see that headpiece and that wig.
yeah,
Oh,
Like,
interesting. Yeah.
Did
It
they
was just
keep
like a
that and change the
simple
dress?
gown is what they said. It was like a very simple gown that got lost
Interesting.
with all the rest of the models. And to me, the headdress just does not make sense. I know, we can all agree that gold and silver can work in the same sphere on a look. This just does not work together. And then the hair just being down with it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's no shade to the designer at all, but it's like those two creations are so different. Putting them next to each other, like the headpiece just looks cheap by comparison. Not
Yeah.
saying it is, but like
Totally.
next to like custom Versace,
Yeah.
like it just looked a little arts and craftsy.
Yeah. I almost wish before we get into the shape of a woman of it all, I almost wish so before this we see Gaga in her dressing room with Freddie and Sarah.
Icons,
Icons,
SAG-AFTRA
divas.
icons.
Yes. And actually Sarah Tano, Gaga's makeup artist, made like such a cute post talking about how The Devil Wears Prada is such an important movie to her. It's a comfort movie. And so she like felt really special to be a part of it and to even like be in a shot. But basically Meryl Streep's character Miranda walks into the dressing room and is sort of like, Gaga.
Gaga.
Yeah.
And we see her coming in the mirror.
Yes.
Like we're seeing Gaga's reflection.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, Gaga's like visibly annoyed, and they're kind of like setting up that they have this beef that sort of is nondescript, which is sort of fun. And I don't even really know what they say back and forth. I can't even think of it right
It was
now.
we're so thankful that you were doing the show, and she's like, well, Nigel told me if I don't do this that I won't get another cover. Oh, did he say that? That doesn't sound like him. Well, you're right, it sounds like somebody else I know.
Yes.
And then Miranda leaves, and Gaga turns to Sarah and is like, "Who let her in here?"
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's very fun.
It's
Such a
so
vicious
fun.
way. Who let her in here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Gaga's playing quote unquote herself, but we know that Gaga doesn't act like that.
Right. But
Yeah.
some people in the general public don't.
Right.
So that's what's fun. It's
Yeah.
like she doesn't care. She's like, I don't care if people think I'm like a
These
bitchy
are
pop star.
fictional
Like,
characters. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm playing myself, then like, why not lean in?
Yeah.
right.
But what she's wearing during that scene is this corset by an emerging queer Italian designer, Lorenzo Sicchesi. And first of all, fierce ass corset. If you look up this
Fierce.
piece, it's just beautiful. But I almost wish that on the runway later for Shape of a Woman, she was kind of wearing the Gaga uniform of days past that is like fishnets,
Right.
stripper heels,
Right.
a corset,
Right.
and like I don't know, like a fierce wig and kind of like a heavy black eyeliner, like something that was like she's like a music star,
Right.
And I do think the Versace gown screams like rock star as well.
Totally.
Yeah.
But like again, the styling, I think it could have been cool to see her sort of being not in a gown for that.
Right.
I don't know.
But I will say her performance has so many Gaga-isms in it. Like the way that she's moving on the stage. Like
Yes.
her performance of the song is very classic. Like Gaga on a stage.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and the way it's like cut is so funny because it's like for us, I'm like I want more.
right.
I want
It's like
more of
barely.
this. But like I could also see that somebody who's like not necessarily caring about Gaga being in the film is like, this is a little long.
yeah, they're like, is this
Yeah.
a music video? Like, what's happening? Yeah.
It's a good, like, I would say
It's
in
like
total,
probably 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
for both scenes, I would say it's a good, like, 5 to 6 minutes with Gaga in the whole movie, which
Yeah,
I
she-
think is,
Yeah.
could be longer, could be 10,
well,
but, you know.
I don't know. It's interesting. Like we sort of talked about this previously, but it's really like the way that she approached the collaboration with Doechii is such a different way of approaching collaboration with a younger artist on a song. And I think even just the way that she's engaged with like playing herself or like having a cameo in this movie is just like very different than like anything I've seen like it. And just like it felt like in some ways odd, but not in a bad way. Like,
no, like fun,
Yeah.
silly, but like not a move that she would have made a couple years ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like she definitely said yes. And
Yeah.
I was like, sure, of course, yeah, whatever.
Mhm.
And not only said yes, was like, here's 3 songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we think of Shape of a Woman?
I really enjoy it. I think it's not as fun as Runway, but I think it's a fun, like, adult contemporary song.
My take is it's definitely like from the Mayhem scrap pile,
Yeah.
which is totally fine. We'll take Mayhem scraps. We love
Mhm.
Mayhem. And like probably we need to eat our words when we were like a couple months ago being like, Shape of a Woman, okay, AI, Shadow of a Man clone, like the leak that like came out or whatever.
Yeah.
Because there was a leak like in March or something of a song
yeah.
like Shape of a Woman. And it's like, no, that was like a demo from Mayhem
Yeah.
Sessions.
Yeah, it's
like,
something like
it
in
was
the
real.
vein of like Kill for Love
Mm.
and Shadow of a Man. Like it's
Mhm.
in that kind of part of Mayhem that is sort of that funky, a little disco inspired.
Yeah. If you listen to the lyrics, they're whack. Like
Yeah.
they're Gaga crazy lyrics, which is why I love that it's in this movie.
And she
Because-
mentions the lady.
Yes.
So I think
Mhm.
about the lady in red. I think about Mistress of Mayhem.
I think about her love of the female form.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Little Monsters are Little Monsters. I mean, I've seen such funny takes about like, this is Gaga singing through the lens of a gay man who's a fashion designer who loves designing for women. And then
Right.
other people saying like, this is Gaga being gay.
Right.
And you know, like it's just like kind of a funny,
Sapphic Ga.
yeah, sapphic Gaga, which we got a little bit in Runway as well. And the red latex, like a lot of her gay girl fans are like, that one's for us actually because she looks hot. And then gay guys are like, that one's actually for us because she looks like a drag queen.
Yes.
But yeah, I do like this song. I think that I guess I'll just be honest. I think that for the scene in the movie, it kind of gives it more power because we know that like Andy and Miranda are like solving the big problem
Yeah.
while it's happening and we're cutting to the fashion show. But ultimately, it could have used something that felt like a little bit more urgent and like chaotic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It felt like very controlled, and I think that speaks to what you said about that scene.
Totally.
Just like it felt
a little cookie cutter fashion show, like just like fashion.
Yeah, the cuts of Gaga's performance were a little strange to me, but it's not a movie about her.
Right.
I'm reminding myself.
Right.
yeah.
Live vocals though. She
Yeah.
sounded great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What's new?
Right.
Okay, well, what about Glamorous Life?
Another scrap. Ooh, sorry. But I'm not saying that in like a derogatory way. I just think that it's like Runway, I see her writing for this. Those other two, I see her being like, oh, there are these songs that we were working on that
Yeah.
like lyrically, I think that like Glamorous Life is very much about a lot of what Gaga was talking about during Mayhem Press
Yeah.
on the album through the Mayhem Ball. Like
yeah.
those themes feel a little bit more tied to her world and less to the movie.
Totally. I think if I had to speculate, and I've speculated about Runway, that like maybe that was something that Bruno was working on because he's like been doing all these like one-off collabs, and maybe like brought it to Gaga and she's like, nah, no. And then maybe like Die With a Smile happened. He did the thing with Rosé and all that stuff. And then this project came about and she was like, let's run that back. And also let's put Doechii on this.
Mhm.
Like, I don't need to be the main artist on it. And that's why there's so many writers and producers involved. And I could see Glamorous Life. I mean, there's a lot of fan speculation that this was the ballad that Gaga famously said that Die With a Smile replaced on Mayhem as the final track, replaced a ballad that she felt was like soul bearing and that her fans would really get. And Glamorous Life is sort of about like choosing between being a villain and being the hero in your story, kind of, and like chasing fame and all of that stuff. And so a lot of people are speculating, especially because of the co-writers and co-producers, that maybe this was that song, even though previously people thought it was Happy Mistake. But all of interesting food for thought. I am glad that Mayhem ends with Die With a Smile. And I do like Glamorous Life. I'll be honest, it took me a few lessons to get to sort of sign on. It's just very movie-fied.
Totally.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you know, I think we were saying this the other day when we were talking about Runway, that like Gaga's movie music is just like held to a higher standard. So when something is like just fine as a movie track, it's like kind of a letdown in like Gaga world.
Yeah. And she maybe that one's for like also the GP in a different way.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it plays at the end of the movie,
Yeah.
like in the credits. Like it's not a bad song. It's not on the top of my
No.
on repeat.
No. I have a feeling in a couple of years it'll like circle back in this way where fans were like, but were you listening to this?
Right.
And then it'll have its like a big moment.
Right.
Like a lot of Gaga songs tend to do.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew, what do you think about Gaga, this intersection of Gaga and The Devil Wears Prada for
Well,
your little heart?
I was really interested to see because, you know, I saw the movie Thursday, and I was really interested to see both of your reactions to Gaga playing this other version of herself that she is not. You know, having her be at odds with someone at the top of the fashion world in this universe seemed, my first take, I did not like that because I felt like I'm just so used to her being a darling of these worlds, and it just felt like weird because I'm like, why would she? But you know, why would she have beef with the editor-in-chief of Runway? You know, it didn't make sense to me because in this universe that we're living in, you know, maybe she did have beef with Anna and we just didn't know at one point. I don't think that's the truth, but you know,
I think that's why she thought it was fun,
That's-
because
and
it's going
hearing-
to open that kind of
Yeah.
line of thinking
yeah.
where people are like, wait,
Do we know her?
do we know?
Yeah.
So that is actually hearing your reaction, both of your reaction to it, it did make me like it a little more. Like that whole, oh, maybe this was intentional, you know. I think she did like that. I think Meryl and Gaga said that it was so fun to play off of each other in that way, and they really enjoyed. And I think it's always fun to play a villain. You know, we haven't seen her like that. I mean, yeah, in House of Gucci she played a villain, but not in this way. It
Like
almost felt
diva.
like a little
Right.
bit more like the Countess, you know?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I think
And-
it was also like when they probably brought the scene to her, she was like, oh yeah, like I get to do this with Meryl. Like, why would I not want to have like fun
Totally.
acting?
With this like well-known sort of like glamorous villainous kind of character,
Yeah.
Right.
in this kind of girl core movie,
And it's
Yeah.
like funny in that universe that those two
Totally.
would like not fuck with each other.
And it's
Yeah.
funny for us as fans to think of Gaga as someone who would be like, yeah, I guess I'll do this chicken shit gig I'm not going to get paid for because if not, I'm not going to get another cover. Like in real life, I think if someone held that over her, she'd be like, okay,
Right.
Yeah.
like you don't want to put me,
Exactly.
that's your loss. You know what I
Right,
mean?
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
But in this world, it's kind of like it heightens the stakes because it's like even Gaga would do something she doesn't really want to do or for no money just because she wants to get another cover.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like,
it
it
like
really-
solidifies the importance
Yes.
of Runway as like a
Yes.
cultural institution
totally-
in
Okay.
the film that is like trying to say that
Yeah.
like legacy print media is done.
Right.
And I had a question for both of you was the whole cover thing in reference to a Vogue cover? Like, was there rumors about one of her September issue covers?
don't
If there
think
was like
so.
anything on set that had happened or, you know,
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know if there was anything on set. I just know that like they are like emotional pivotal moments in Gaga's career, like when she's gotten Vogue covers.
Yeah, I
Um,
think the thing that like kind of suspends reality a bit is that like Miranda's like, I'm so, like after that cover that
It
she
almost
did,
killed me,
It almost
yeah.
killed me. Like in reality, if it almost killed the editor in chief of such an influential magazine, they would have pulled it,
Mm-hmm.
But then again, maybe there have been these moments in Gaga's career where she is kind of like weeping and falling apart.
Right.
But she's like, I'm just being myself and I need to show the world where I am right now.
Right.
And that's like hard to maneuver, but that kind of hasn't really come out. I
Right.
feel like she's always understood as a consummate professional.
Right. But I love her Vogue cover with the little pink bob and
Yeah.
that video of her like softly weeping, being like
Mhm.
photographed wearing the like beautiful tailoring
Yeah.
pieces. It's like, she
Yeah.
definitely like feels it when she's
Yes.
doing something like that.
Well, I
And then the RuPaul beef, that's the real tea.
Oh,
Is RuPaul's
wow.
like, you stole my look, bitch, when she
Uh-huh.
was on the September issue in
Yes.
the little purple hourglass with the
Mm-hmm.
huge hair.
yeah.
That's
Which-
the tea.
Yeah.
That one, I was wondering if that was, I don't know why. Am I making this story up? But like, I felt like that was the one that I thought was like, there was some drama on set because I don't know if I saw something at the time that said like, that wasn't like that specific shot wasn't meant to be the cover. Maybe that was a last minute cover
Mhm.
that had happened. I don't know. Like,
I do
it was supposed to be Gaga, but it was like that specific
I do
photo.
remember there being something about the final cover image. I can't remember if it was like fans being upset or like people thought that it wasn't like the edit of her.
But I think it comes from the footage of her behind the scenes of that shoot. And she, I think, looks a little bit different than she does on the cover and like looks like a touring artist.
Yeah.
And the cover image, as you're alluding to, is like she's very elongated and kind of, I mean, of course, retouched and stuff. And fans were very like, this doesn't look like her. And then when that video from behind the scenes was circulating, people were like, how could Gaga let them make her appearance so different for a cover that's so important? And da 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 da. Like people thought that she had sort of betrayed her kind of like, born this way, be yourself sort of stuff because it was so, I mean, it was high fashion.
Right.
It was,
I
But
always
they do
think-
make her look very like waif-like.
Yeah. I always think of the Gaga episode for the season opening of RuPaul's Drag Race season 9, where they have them all in their favorite Gaga look.
yes.
And James Mansfield is that Gaga cover. And she's like very acting sleepy or like
Yes.
has the soft eye. And Gaga's like, oh my God, I was so tired on that set or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's lore there.
There was lore there. I don't know. So I was just thinking,
There's
like,
other moments like that in Gaga's career too. Like there's I don't know, this was an ad she did for Versace in like a lavender purple.
Oh, I
gown.
remember that one.
And, like like the retouching was like pretty heavy handed, and the behind the scenes stuff was like she looks pretty like sleepy, tired, a little oily. Like
I
you know.
love those images of her.
Me too.
Yeah, me
Not
too.
unretouched.
Yes, they're so good.
I'm like, this
They're
is
really
hair.
raw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Donatella was in this movie.
Yeah. Which is probably another reason that Gaga was like, my
Yeah.
girl's here. Pull out the gown.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
a flex. 20 years later, she's like, let me pop this on real quick.
Yeah.
So
Like,
crazy.
okay.
That is just, it was cool. So
I guess not 20 years.
I did love Gaga in it. Now it totally made me think like there must be lore. And my other thought with her not liking Miranda was Gaga is such a anti-bullying person, and Miranda is like this famously impatient, kind of hard, stern, almost a bully to people. And maybe that's like where the source of the beef is also. She just doesn't like. And then I'm like thinking, maybe she's thought these things about how Anna used to be at Vogue back in the day, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked
well-
about how Gaga has been in the past and not recently. She was like pretty like openly critical of like fashion critics and fashion writing and fashion journalism as
Right.
sort of like not being like authentic and grounded in like real experiences of like what making fashion, what wearing fashion
Right.
means.
Which is interesting because this is basically like a brand deal.
Yes.
So it's kind of the flip of that. Should we talk about the special appearance by Lady Gaga appearing before literally any other person in this film?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it's like
Like what is that?
I don't know.
And the rumored like 2.5 million, right?
yeah,
Is what they're saying.
to appear.
Yeah. So it's like, huh.
Then again, and you know, we're not, you know, endorsing this amount of money for anyone to fucking have, period. But like contextually,
Right.
this is like a Disney production.
Right.
They have like all of these like campaign connections.
That's
with,
like their budget for craft services.
Right. Starbucks, Coke, L'Oreal, Maybelline, Tresemme. There's like all of these different. So I mean,
The ugliest
I don't
Valentino
know.
purse in the world.
yes,
She's like, I got you a free bag. I'm like, bring it back.
it's just funny. I don't know.
Exchange it for store
The
credit.
custom Kelly that they had.
Oh God, I know. Well, can we talk about some of the styling in the movie that was just
Yeah.
atrocious? Like,
It was Andy.
yeah,
It was Andy.
mostly. There's
Which-
that one look that Emily is in, the overalls with the neckerchief.
See, that one made sense to
I
me.
did not like
I
that.
liked
when
that
they were
one.
in the Dior flagship.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't
Okay.
like that.
I
one.
liked that one because it felt like this is Lauren Sanchez wearing the all labels because she's like, I am a vendor. My favorite line of the movie, spoiler alert, don't fast forward if you don't want to hear it, is when Miranda says to Emily, you are not a visionary, you're a vendor. And that
Ouch.
just spoke to all of the styling that Emily was wearing, you know,
Yeah.
with all of the Dior labeled everything, because she is like not being a visionary with it. She was trying to be a runway girl when she was at Runway. Now she's at Dior. She's trying to be a Dior girl,
Right.
you know, and not even like the chic Dior girl. It's like,
Yeah.
I am like the corporate manager, you know,
Right.
Yeah.
when you have like a
Ugh.
Starbucks
Yeah,
manager
I-
that buys the merch.
Yeah, no, literally. Well, that's what's so funny about like all of the people's roles in this film. They're all just kind of like nebulous. Like they're acting. It's like Emily runs Dior. Like
Yeah,
I don't.
that was a little
Or, like,
bizarre
she-
to me.
I thought maybe she was
Like
head of advertising.
advertising?
She was head of retail.
Okay.
She's head of the retail.
Retail, okay.
Yeah, that's like the official title that
Okay.
they're saying she has. But
Okay.
like, she's the head of North American retail.
Okay.
I think, yeah, I mean, I think Meryl and Stanley Tucci were very well dressed throughout the film. There was
Totally.
one Meryl dress I didn't love. Andy had some, aka Anne, had some moments that were,
Some misses.
yeah,
Quite a few.
Yeah,
honestly.
they were a little weird.
I didn't like the styling of the when they're going to Lake Como.
Yeah.
She's wearing the page boy hat with the long hair and the tie
And it's like supposed to
with
be like a disguise because she's
Right.
like getting in the car.
Right.
She looked like just didn't look great.
Yeah, well,
Right.
and I think like that look in particular was supposed to be like maybe an evolution of a callback of like a look from the first movie, like
Totally,
Page
like
Boy
her-
Cat. Like
her kind
I
of-
felt like a lot of her looks were like, what if this runway girl like worked somewhere else for 15 years and then came back
Yeah,
to
you're-
runway?
you're-
Like that's
yeah.
what they were trying to, and that's what it was.
That's what
and
Anne
that's
was
why they
saying
looked good.
too. That's what Anne was saying. She was like, I really wanted her style to be like, she saw the world and she came back. She knew a couple things, but she went to all these different flea markets and would buy things.
Right, like they
Yeah.
made it like she knew how to shop for vintage.
Right,
Like, okay.
right.
No.
Yeah,
No.
I know, because like in the first movie, didn't she like work there for like 3 months?
and she was like,
It was
I hate
like
clothes.
it was like less than a year, but it was probably like 9 months because they go through a
Yeah,
whole like
yeah.
cycle. But it would have made more sense if they had her be like boring almost with her fashion.
Right.
Yes,
Not
like kind
like-
of like a
Yeah,
meaningful journey. Not that
yeah.
fashion's not meaningful,
Like,
but like
some of the outfits made sense, but when they got to Milan, it just didn't. It felt
Right.
Like it,
They were.
like-
She was like, Chanel felt out of place in a newsroom, and then it's like you're walking around in this fuck ass ensemble, and you have
Well,
no problem with that.
yeah.
I will
Like,
say, I am not bullying. I am not Jasmine. I am Aladdin. Sorry. Oh, cancel me. Cancel me.
Wow.
I'm leaving it in. I'm leaving it in.
we get take it off.
Yeah.
She was a
I'm-
different woman back then.
I am not bullying Miss Anne. I did laugh though. So there is a scene that's kind of from a bird's eye view of her like running through a public plaza, and she did an interview
Wait,
where
which
she
one?
was
Yeah, that's like
where she
80%
was
of the
talking.
movie.
She was talking about this was the only one where it wasn't extras. It was like real public, and she said that they kind of like asked her to do it, and they're like, "There's going to be a van here, and there's going to be a van here, and you're going to run across into the other van." And so she said, like, she opened the van door and immediately they were like, "No, you're running to this mark and then to this other van." And she was like, "Okay, what?" And then she's like hearing people say her name and she's like, "I can't deal with this." And she got to the other van and it's like locked. And
Oh my god.
but seeing they really included 1.5 seconds of it, but I laughed in the movie because she was wearing this like sequins jumpsuit, sequins gown, this sequined jumpsuit thing tucked into like boots, and she was just doing this little scurry. And it's like that was Anne Hathaway running away from fans.
Yeah,
Like,
literally.
very
Well, Anne
funny.
Hathaway running is like 80% of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like she's just
literally.
like flustered in public.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Oh, Anne. Okay. Also,
Anne.
there was a whole roommate character that Conrad Ricamora played,
I
and they
just
cut
found that out too.
him out of the
Patrick
movie.
and I, your Twitter and I, it is so linked.
Yeah.
it is
Yeah,
crazy.
no, they're
we
like-
were on the car ride here, and I saw that same. Yeah, I saw that same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I'm like, what was that?
Yeah, there
Her
were a
having a
lot of-
roommate?
There were a lot of side characters. I think they needed that to make the world feel necessarily bigger. It's 2026. It's not 2006. Where
Yeah.
like you said off mic, like we're going from the world of the assistants in the first movie to the world of like the big dogs in
Yep.
the second movie. Like it makes sense for the world to be bigger.
Yeah.
I think there were a few too many extra side characters, but I almost would have rather have lost some of those and like
Yeah.
had her have this like
Yeah.
really close roommate, gay guy
Yeah.
roommate.
Which it does. I will say, I think, you were saying earlier, it doesn't make sense that she's like, they're trying to pretend like she's broke now,
Right.
which I would agree, because it's like, you would think after 15 years working in journalism, or like, I don't know, 20
Well, the
years.
movie
that you've been,
opens with
like-
her winning a award at a prestigious gala. Like,
Yeah. But it also does, I think they're also trying to say like these journalists do not get paid what they should be getting paid.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
And I know like people in that age group in Chicago, that are still struggling with money.
Right.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny, and I know this is like movie magic and classic in New York, where they like try to make it like she's slumming it, and her apartment is fucking massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and they're like, "Oh, this piece of shit apartment." And it's like it's gorgeous. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't think her needing to move was a
Yeah.
plot point.
Right,
And then
that
her
was
friend like
interesting.
tricks her into going to an open house, being like, "This is the apartment you deserve," and it's like
I don't
just
get
gray,
that. No,
like,
it looked ugly.
gentrified.
Right.
Like,
It's like they wanted to show her evolution, rightfully so. Like she's like the main character, but the evolution of the other characters for me, even for like Emily becoming sort of like the villain in this in a different way.
yeah, I really
Like,
enjoyed that.
Yeah, me too. Like
That I thought was great.
yeah. And like we got to see a softer side of Miranda with her like new partner, and we got to
Yeah.
see Stanley Tucci kind of had more moments asserting himself. Like, but Andy's growth felt more like when we open the movie, we know she's grown, and that's like kind of all I needed. I didn't
Yeah.
really need to see her like get a man or an apartment.
Yeah.
I would agree.
I was like
Yeah.
already rooting for her, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
it's like
yeah.
she got to do what she wanted to do, which is be this prestigious journalist. And now we don't need to see this whole love evolution, you know, because then that's falling in the same like traps that we talked about with the first one, and in a lot of rom-coms, are these ideas that like love is always the main thing you need to find,
Right.
you know?
It's like it completes you.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? I mean, I guess we should start wrapping up, but the first movie ends with not like the last scene, but like the most important last scene is Miranda and Andy in a car in Paris.
Yeah.
Miranda is like, they aren't like us.
You thought I didn't know.
Right.
Mhm.
And Andy gets out of the car and walks across the street. She's like, I'm done
Yeah.
with this shit.
Everybody wants to be us is the line that
Yes.
set Andy away, because she
Yes.
was like, I don't want that. I don't want to sell out my friends to save my own skin.
Right. And I thought
Yeah.
the interesting parallel there was that Andy was disgusted in the first film with Miranda because she's like, you just promised, what's his name? Nigel, this job, and then took it out from under him because you couldn't fathom like not being in this world. And then the end of this movie was them in a car again. And Miranda is basically saying to her, write the book.
Yeah.
Write
Yeah.
this like biography about me, all the good, the bad, and the ugly, so people know how much it takes. Thought that was an interesting way to end it.
Yeah.
Like,
And that Miranda was like, don't get it twisted. You actually were doing this for yourself.
right,
I
Like
thought
you
that was
think
great.
you're trying to save
Yeah.
the day, but you're also trying to save your skin.
right.
I think it's showing that, like, I think one of them was saying, but I think this is also true, that like not every hero needs to be the perfect hero. Not every villain needs to be completely evil and flawed. They can have some humanity there. And I think this second one does a really good job of saying, like, Andy's not perfect. She is definitely not, like, she was trying to save her own skin while thinking that she is like needed to protect these people.
Right.
You know, it's like a hero complex.
Kind of presumptuous that like
Exactly.
she could save like an icon in the publishing industry.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like it was
Yeah.
her duty
Savior
to like
complex.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think the book plotline was pretty underdeveloped.
Totally.
But I think they wove that in because, is that the right tense of that word? I don't know. They integrated that
Yeah.
plotline into the film
Yeah.
because it does push that point that they're not ending on this note of like, yay, we're holding hands and we're going to like run this media conglomerate together. It's like, well, actually, I'm in this for my stuff. You're in this for your stuff. And we can work well together for as long as we work well together.
Totally.
And it kind of like maintains, in a way,
Some
Miranda's
mystery.
kind of idea of the way the world works in the first film is kind of like upheld and proven in
Yeah,
this movie.
I would agree.
And by Andy like returning to Runway and like bringing her like the new feature for the month, and then she's like, "Is that it? Like, go."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so you're accepting this world
Yeah.
Right.
that
Yeah.
Miranda's still living in, and you see the value in it
Yeah.
Right.
instead of like fighting for something bigger or better or
Yeah.
not the hierarchy. Like she's
Yeah.
okay still being the peon to the woman that she basically quote quote saved, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
really
interesting.
that is interesting. Huh.
What a film.
I
don't
know. I would say it made me sad because it was such a mirror to the current world that we live in. In the way that, gosh, you really just don't know how this imaginary world that I grew up loving and respecting so much, which is the fashion world, but also magazines, print media, all of it. This whole idea that like it's the fairy tale world, which we know has a lot of downsides, but the fact that like people like Jeff Bezos are now so heavily involved with their money and how they choose to spend their money and how they are expecting the fashion world to kind of upheld their end now. It's scary. It's like you don't know how this is all going to play out. Like, and that's with the art world is like that, you know, the film world is like that, fighting AI, all of this.
Yeah.
It's like, it's scary. You don't know who's going to do what with their money, you know?
Yeah, it almost feels like the first movie was showing how there are sort of like puppets and puppeteers, and this movie is sort of like there's puppets and their puppeteers are also puppets and their puppeteers are also like there's just like such a system of like, again, like seeing Miranda, who in the first movie we learned to be this like incredibly powerful and influential woman, sort of like not have a lot of that influence over her own career is like really sad.
Yeah, it
Like,
makes you sad. But I think that's the reality.
Yeah.
I think that is the reality, unfortunately. We all have bosses, unless you're like, I mean, even pop stars, they have, unless they're going to do like something without a label, they still have someone to answer to.
Right.
They can still get away with a lot as long as you're in your career that Gaga's been, she can still get away with a lot, but there's still people that might say no to her,
Right.
Anna Wintour does not have the power that we once thought she had. We live in such a different time. It's a scary world we live in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
But it was still a lot of fun.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was fun to go to
And-
the movies.
Special appearance by Lady Gaga.
Yeah, absolutely.
Top build, mama.
Totally. And we,
First build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we got to
As I say,
see we got
yeah,
to
that's top
see
build.
sit in a movie theater on a Sunday afternoon and come out, and it was still daylight out,
That was fabulous.
which means that summer's coming, and there were a lot of gays and girls who were very invested in this film around us, and that
Yes.
always
laughing.
yes,
Yes.
it makes me like
I heard gasping.
Yeah,
Yes.
it makes me like a movie a lot more when I'm like, oh my god,
Yes.
everyone's loving, everyone's paying attention,
Yeah.
and that feels good.
When Runway played, everyone was
Yeah,
shaking,
bopping a little bit in
shaking
their-
in their seats.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Okay, well, Andrew, why don't you give us a little bit of a plug for your Instagram so our listeners can find you, stalk you?
Okay, so
If
my
they
first
want.
plug is going to be my main Instagram, where I just post a lot of my art, some curated photos of myself, maybe a couple funny memes once or twice. I like to save that for my close friends, though. So Andrew Davalos.
If you pay me $10, you can be my
You can
close
get
friend.
access
Yeah.
to the memes. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Then so that's Andrew Davalos, and then I have the magazine's account, which is the_issue_mag. You can also find us at www.theissuemag.com.
Ow.
And we are about to launch our third issue, the Nocturnal issue.
Yes.
We're gonna have our launch party May 16th. I don't know if this is
It'll come out.
out. So there's a Partiful link in our bio on Instagram. Please come out. We're just asking a small entry fee, to print the magazine. Print media is expensive.
There you go. The Devil Wears Prada.
But we're bringing back print media. So we're very excited. There's a lot of exciting guests that we're going to have, some fun activities. It'll be a great
Ooh,
party.
Activities.
I know. And it's at
Activations. as they
Breakfast
say.
Studios in Logan Square. It'll
Yeah.
be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us and for giving us your honest input about Lady Gaga and this wonderful universe that means so much to you. Should we end on with a song?
Yes. Which one should we sing? We'll each pick from Runway, Shape of a Woman, and Glamorous Life,
We each
and
sing
all
one of
sing
them.
at the same time.
Well,
Yeah. I don't know the words to Glamorous Life. Eek.
How about we just sing? It's
Bitch.
Monday through Sunday.
I can turn a dance floor into a runway. I can turn a dance floor
Into a runway.
So,
body's the entree.
yeah, anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in.
Remember, a pearl a day keeps Miranda Priestley away.
Period. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for having me.
Let you in.